Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. And if you say it along with me, go to Teespring, buy the t-shirt. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Lucha Underground review. And this episode, as you guys heard me say, on Lucha Underground TWitWoW, which you can go and check out, productive as fuck. And in this one episode, we get the entirety of Gift of the Gods 3, which again, for the umpteenth millionth time, Ashton called, he knew it was happening. We get it set up in this one episode, and on top of that, at the end of the show, we have, which for a lot of Lucha Libre fans, get set up what would be considered a dream match. This episode was insane. It boggles my mind what Lucha Underground does with only an episode of television, and what they did, or with an hour of television, I should say, and what they did with that hour tonight, just unbelievable. Ashton, what did you think of it, man?
Yeah, man, this was an amazing episode. I don't know if I would call it the best episode of the season, but that's not really bad for it. That's just because there have been so many amazing episodes this season. Like this episode was ridiculously productive. We got all 7 members of the Aztec Medallion of the Gift of the Gods, but also I would say at least 2 of the 3 matches that we got tonight were really, really good, especially the main event match.
Oh my god, yeah, and here's the thing, dude, I would agree with your assessment wholeheartedly. This wasn't Lucha Underground necessarily at its best, but it was still, first of all, so freaking good, and second of all, I think it's only laid the groundwork for something so much better. Ultima Lucha Dos is looking insane. I'm really curious how you and I are going to feel about it. Is it going to outperform the very first Ultima Lucha? I have high expectations. In fact, high expectations may even be an understatement. This Lucha Underground, though, set a great tone for Ultima Lucha Dos. The hype is so freaking real, dude.
Yeah, man, this was so just... I'm so excited, as if I wasn't already. I'm so excited for Ultima Lucha Dos.
Absolutely. And with that said, with that sentiment in mind, let us get right into our Lucha Underground review. And Ashton, we start off with what very well could be one of my favorite cinematic segments of the season.
Dario Cueto talking to a brand new luchador named Nightclaw.
Yeah, who looks insane, people. That attire,
he
though,
basically
dude,
looks like Black Panther. Let's be real.
Yeah, and Black Panther was a badass.
Yeah.
So what's this guy gonna be like?
The same? A badass? Hello?
Exactly. Like, this is just looking freaking crazy. We find out that he's from, what was it, actually, the Jaguar tribe?
Yeah, the Jaguar tribe.
The first tribe to get wiped out because their confidence turned into arrogance, according to Cueto. And Nightclaw, he has a lot of pride in where he comes from. And he even said, like, what did he say? Like, tell everybody that Nightclaw, and pretty much like, I'm just going to show everybody what I'm made of, more or less. Dude, the aesthetic of this character is sick. I'm going to say right now, people, and this may be a somewhat controversial opinion to some of our listeners, I think he's unseated Drago already in this cinematic with best look for a luchador. I love the costuming of this character, dude.
Yeah, dude, the costume looks amazing. I don't know if I'm going to give him the nod over Drago yet, but that's just because I still feel like I need to see his full ring attire. Because really, I mean, we saw sort of like the upper half of his upper body and his mask, which looked awesome, but I'm not going to crown him until we see the rest of his attire, because like Drago's got all these spikes going on and stuff. He's and plus, I mean, let's not forget the frickin' dragon skull and the wings now that he brings out. Like, he's super badass, but I definitely think it's safe to call Nightclaw in contention.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, I cannot wait for his debut. What secrets and abilities lie behind that mask, I wonder. This was great. And you know what? A segment like this is the perfect tone to set for the episode as a whole, because it just shows you anything can happen. And I loved it, dude. Huge fan of this.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, I mean, up next was our first match of the night.
Yeah, Mascarita Sagrada versus Daga. Ashton, what do you think about this match?
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't anything special. It basically, I think it only went for like 3 minutes, honestly. It was a really quick match.
Yeah, it wasn't really that long. That's been kind of the nature of Mascarita's matches as of late, because we actually know that he can go to distance. But I think the current story, it's better, it's preferable to do shorter matches just to show that Mascarita, his inability while having Famous B's kind of leadership. So Daga does win the match. Cobra Moon's watching from atop Dario Cueto's office, which is a great visual, but that's all she does is really watch. She doesn't descend from it and interact more intimately with Daga. She just stays where she is. And it just continues to be a rough time for Mascarita, but unfortunately, Ashton, it would go from bad to worse.
Yeah, Famous B super kicks the hell out of Mascarita.
Yeah, lays his ass out. As I said on TWitWoW, super kicked him to the curb. So, yeah, Famous B done with him. Brenda seemed genuinely distraught. Do you think there's going to be any more tension between Famous B and Brenda? Because yeah.
I don't know. I think she's just going to go along with whatever he does, considering he made her famous.
Well, see, I think she's going to go along with what he does, but unwillingly, though. Like, she's not just going to, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think there'll definitely be a degree of apprehension there, but I don't think that it'll be, like, super resistant. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that he'll be like, give me my shoe, and she'll be like, no, I don't want to. I think she'll do it, but with just, like, a grotesque, like annoyed look on her face.
Well, he reduced her to tears. I don't know if you noticed, but, like, a good look at Brenda's face, like, after the assault, like, mascara seemed to be running down her face. Like, yeah, she was crying. She seemed really emotional. So I'm wondering if, like, I don't know, if she caught feelings from Mascarita, or if she thought, oh, like, what a little trooper, and she grew some type of affection for him. But it's going to be interesting, because Mascarita isn't just going to go down like some punk. Like, whoever Famous B's new client is, I could see him and Mascarita maybe even having a match, or her, for that matter. Famous B could be repping a woman. Him or her facing Mascarita potentially in a match at Ultima Lucha 2.
Yeah, man.
So
I kind of hope that we get just a straight up one-on-one match, Famous B versus Mascarita.
That would definitely be my preference, because Famous B with this character, I'd love to see him back in the ring. But if he's, like, really committed to repping somebody,
yeah.
Mascarita, and I think you felt this way, I think a lot of people felt this way, I certainly felt this way, was kind of a smokescreen for something better, like waiting in the wings, and I think we're close now to seeing what that is.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I'm just excited, like, who is, because whichever client steps forward now, I think is going to be the legitimate client. I don't think we're going to play games of he has these string of failures and then he happens upon the success story. Right. No, I think Mascarita was the failure, no offense to him, and, now you have the success story coming up here. So, very interesting.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of who it might be, and I just can't think of anybody.
Maybe it will be Vinny Massaro. Maybe Famous B will finally return his call.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, Vinny's a great guy. I'd love to see him back in the temple. This would be a great capacity for him to do it, so we'll see.
It's going to be a freaking Urban Heretic.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. The last real heel. Yeah. Talk to Johnny Scumbag about that.
One of them.
That's true. Only one of them. Or Famous B could return my call. I mean, we did finally, cross the threshold of 1,000 subs. I mean, if there was any time to get on the TWitWoW gravy train, it is now, baby. So Famous B, I know you're listening. Pick up that phone, dial my digits. Let's get it talking.
That's the sound gravy train makes.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say about this, man?
No. I loved the super kick, though. I thought that was one of the best looking super kicks I've seen in a while from Famous B.
Totally agree with you, man.
It might just be because it was such a low angle and it still caught Mascarita on the chin because he's so short, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Famous B's got that ability, man. That's why he's famous.
Up next, though, we had another segment in Cueto's office where he told El Dragon Azteca Jr. that Black Lotus was the one that killed his mentor.
Stirring up that tension, though. What'd you think of this, man?
Oh, I love this. This is like the bomb drop. This, like, you know how you always say, oh, I'm going to wait for the other shoe to drop? This was the other shoe dropping.
Yes. Completely agree with you. And can I just say, Ashton, because I know the focus, and we will, believe me, in the weeks leading up to Ultima Lucha 2, like, the emphasis really is going to be on El Dragon Azteca Jr. and Black Lotus, as it should be. But I've just got to take a second and say, once again, amazing heel work by Dario Cueto here. That guy plays scumbag promoter so well. because he realizes we have got real, I mean, as beefy as beef can get between two people. You're talking about the death of a beloved figure for El Dragon Azteca Jr., the original El Dragon Azteca, Black Lotus, her parents are dead. I've got a unique opportunity here, and I'm just going to have these two kill each other, and he's working both sides like a goddamn maestro, and I love it, dude.
Yeah, man. This brilliant manipulation from Cueto here.
Such a great heel. It's funny, dude, because I find Cueto's heel work more compelling than most actual in-ring heels today.
Yeah, dude. And the crazy thing, too, is that, like, he puts any heel authority figure in WWE right now to shame.
Oh, dude, it's not even close. I think to even call it a race, I'm not saying you were, but if anybody was, it would be insulting, dude. Because, like, Cueto's just like, is anybody else racing? I can't see anyone. Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
I mean, Stephanie and Triple H are naked a few miles back with a lady behind them ringing a bell saying, "Shame!"
Dude, it's crazy, man. Just crazy how great Dario Cueto is. And this match between Black Lotus and El Dragon Azteca Jr. I've mentioned several times in past episodes, and you and I have talked about it. We listen to other people in the Lucha Clique. I mean, I always think of Face Lock Feministas when we think about Black Lotus. To think that, the women are getting a storyline with this kind of depth, this kind of narrative tension, and they're just knocking it out of the park. I cannot wait for the match, because Nightclaw and Black Lotus, I even told this to Ash, I think it was on the live reactions recording, we have got 2 debuts at Ultima Lucha 2. That's crazy to me. Nightclaw and Black Lotus. And Black Lotus, I cannot wait to see her in ring, dude. The hype has been so real for that.
Yeah, man. Oh, my God. I wonder what her style is going to be.
Oh, dude, that's a great point. Maybe it'll be like martial arts-esque or something. I don't know what she's going to be.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I wonder if she's going to have, like, a crazy, like, kind of like, well, you know what? They were trained by the same person.
That's true.
So maybe they'll have the same style.
Do you think we could have? I'm not saying like spot for spot, but even exact. I'm hoping you kind of get what I'm driving at here.
Like almost like a choreographed fight scene, but in the ring.
Exactly, kind of like Ricochet and Ospreay did in their infamous match. Now,
yes,
yeah.
Well, I don't think it'll be that crazy, but yes.
Yeah, that'd be insane, dude. I think they almost have to do that now, really.
It'll be, rather than like doing flippy shit, it'll be like punches and kicks and blocks and everything awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, everything awesome. Do throw the kitchen sink at it. It's gonna be amazing, dude.
No, literally, I want to see somebody raise a knee when somebody comes off the ropes to the gut, and that's a kitchen sink. So there you go.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
All right, well, after this segment, we got our second match of the night, which is the 6-man tag, the trios match. Cortez, Castro, Mr. Cisco, Joey Ryan taking on Killshot, Siniestro de Muerte, and Marty the Moth Martinez.
Yeah, 2 very interesting groups. Marty, to kind of assuage Killshot, to kind of get him to play along and cooperate, gives back the dog tags. Of course, it ends up being a false measure, but we'll get to that in a second. And they proceed to have a really fun match, Ashton. And can I just say, because I know you and I were remarking a lot about it in live reactions, and I think we'd be remiss if we didn't carry it over to here. The star of the match to me was Mr. Cisco. His technico work. Oh, my
excellent.
God.
Yeah.
Dude. I even said in live reactions, like, I think he's Lucha Underground's answer to Hunico, who, of course, is donning the Sin Cara mask at present, and you one-up me, which was also a true statement when you said you felt like Mr. Cisco was even more agile than Hunico as Sin Cara right now. Mr. Cisco puts in the work, man. Like, if anything, he was so good in that match. As much as I love Killshot and Marty, I'm still, jury's kind of out on Siniestro, but as much as I love Killshot and Marty, I felt for Cisco, man. I almost felt like he should have been awarded an honorary medallion for that performance alone. So good.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, he was so good. That was an amazing performance for sure. And I don't know about the honorary medallion, but they should definitely find a way to reward that kind of performance. Just give him maybe we get him versus Joey Ryan, maybe?
Maybe. I'd like that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, maybe Cortez Castro's like special ref or something, because he'd have to have some role. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah, that'd be very interesting. I just think Mr. Cisco has a technico. There is potential there. I don't know what the ceiling is, because in a place like Lucha Underground, I almost feel like it's insulting to talk about ceilings when I feel like they do such great writing. Anybody can be anything at any given time. But yeah, Cisco's a beast.
Yeah, man. I gotta say though, I think my favorite part of this match was just how well Marty and Killshot got along. Like their double team finish was what led to the actual finish of this match.
How crazy was that double team finish too? Like
Marty hits the
wow.
curb stomp and it sets Killshot up for the double stomp. That was awesome.
Yeah, man, that was amazing. They're all celebrating with medallions. I mean, Marty puts his in his mouth. He's been chasing an Aztec medallion since the beginning when he finally gets one.
Yeah, dude, he's actually been... This is why I brought this up during live reactions. He's been in contention for a medallion for every gift of the gods so far, and this is the only one that he's won it.
Yeah, it had to feel great for him.
Because remember, dude, in Season 1, he went after Sexy Star's Moth medallion.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then this season, his match with the Mac was for a medallion.
Right.
Which Mac won.
And then Marty, because I think he knew third time was going to be the charm, he made sure that Killshot played along. Marty did excellent character work, too. Him and Dario, man, really showing up on the heel side. And those weren't the only heels, but we may get to that a bit later. Yep. Just great stuff. And can I say, on a personal note, too, to the performer that plays, Marty the Moth, well-deserved. I have thought so highly of this character. I know you have too. To see him take a step forward like this and be in Gift of the Gods 3 is huge. I think his stock is only going to continue to climb. I think one of my favorite heels, not just in Lucha Underground, but in wrestling in general right now, because he's just a different kind of heel. And I love the kind of villainous stuff that he does because it is distinct. Just love the character, and I'm so happy for the performer. Definitely well-deserved success.
Yeah, man. This has been an awesome kind of growth to watch. Marty just... Because at the beginning, he was basically a believer. Like, he was just chilling outside the temple. He was a fan that just wanted a shot, and now here he is about to be in Gift of the Gods.
And yet, when you hear that, Ashton, like, if a first-time viewer, which if there are any, welcome and thank you for joining us, but if any would hear that, they would think, wow, what a technico or babyface story that is, but the way that Marty went about it just makes him such a great heel.
He abducted one of the most beloved luchadoras in the freaking temple.
Exactly. So it's just great because you're right. It really was a kind of, not to quote Drake, but started from the bottom, now I'm here kind of story. God. And yet he's such a scumbag about it.
Yeah.
So good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Up next, though, was our third match of the night. What I consider to be the main event of the evening, a tag team match where we got rivals teaming up with each other. Sexy Star teamed up with Mariposa, and the last time we saw Mariposa was the No Mas match. And Ivelisse teamed with Taya, and they've been at each other's throats for about a month now.
Yeah. So, contentious combinations, to say the least. And, yeah.
You and your alliteration tonight, man. What is up?
Look, I'm just trying to be on my A game, all right? You all deserve the best.
You're not. You're on your C game. Every alliteration that you've been doing has been with C's.
That's true. I see what you did there. 2020 vision, mother viewers.
Wow.
But, yeah.
3 for 3. Holy nuts.
But, yeah, I mean, excellent tag team match. Yeah. Love the tension between both teams. Personally, I was rooting for Ivelisse and Taya. Now, look, let me just say something sincerely, too. I love Taya to death, but it's also because I feel like Ivelisse is primed to take that next step and really go on a legitimate run, but it just wasn't her turn yet, which is a little disappointing. But the prospect of Mariposa and Sexy Star in Gift of the Gods, very exciting. And I should say, too, they only got there because of a miscue between Taya and Ivelisse. Taya accidentally spearing Ivelisse, and then Mariposa.
I mean, you say accidentally, but she laughed about it afterwards.
I mean, she did laugh a little, but it was pretty funny seeing Ivelisse fail yet again. I mean, a regular person and everything. So then Mariposa capitalized, drove Ivelisse down. Didn't she do some kind of a Death Valley drive or something? Because I know it wasn't the vertebreaker that she did.
No, it was an air raid crash.
That's right. Thank you, Ashton. It was an air raid crash. Pins Ivelisse. So here is the opportunity that we have here. And again, I have to credit Ashton for this because he originally brought it up. If Mariposa and Sexy Star are going to be in Gift of the Gods, then that frees up Taya and Ivelisse to have their own singles match at Ultima Lucha, which would mean that the women would be repping Ultima Lucha Dos hard, because you have Black Lotus versus El Dragon Azteca in an amazing match, narratively speaking. You have, again, to your point, because you really emphasized it throughout the night, 2 women for the first time ever in Gift of the Gods. It's always been 1 in the preceding ones, and it's always been Sexy Star. So you got 2 this time around. And now you could, and it seems very likely at this point, given all the tension, given all the miscues, given everything, Ivelisse versus Taya, 2 women of such ability that if you give them 10 minutes or however many minutes, can put on a clinic. Dude, Luchadora's coming after Ultima Lucha Dos big time. Yep. It's awesome, dude.
It's crazy, man. I'm so happy about it, too, because, like, in hindsight, there was very little to do with the women in season 1. Now, that's not to say that they weren't good enough to do anything with, but there were only 2 people. There were only, really, in ring-wise, Ivelisse and Sexy Star. We didn't have Mariposa. We didn't have Taya. Black Lotus still hasn't debuted yet, but she especially hadn't debuted yet in season 1. You know, it was just Sexy Star and Ivelisse was injured for more than half the season, I think.
Right.
So, you know, for most of the season, it was only Sexy Star holding it down for the women. It's cool to be able to see a match like this where you've got 4 women in one match. 2 of them end up in a big-time match for a championship at Ultima Lucha, and the other 2 are probably going to be facing off with each other at Ultima Lucha. I'm excited about this.
I'm excited about it, too. I'm actually really curious, you know, again, what a group like Face Like Feministas would say, because especially, like, the Lady J has been saying, please do more with your women. Please do more with your women. If everything works out, including the Ivelisse Taya matchup, which is purely conjecture right now, but if that happens, Ultima Lucha Dos is being owned by the women right now, you know, and it's amazing. Like, this is how it should be. And notice again, and here's the thing, because Stryker's definitely scaled back too. There's been no big huff made of like, oh, look at what all these women are doing. Like, I feel like maybe I'm making a big production out of it, and I apologize, but I just really want to emphasize the point. Like, there's always a game plan. Yeah. You don't need a distinct division. You don't need a championship, because what these women are doing is so much better than just having their own little division to play around in. So much better.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it, dude.
Although I will say, though, I mean, if you really think about it, you know, we talk about how there's no division and stuff, and yet still we ended up with 2 women, and probably, hopefully, honestly, ending up in a match with each other.
Yeah.
And this match was 4 women.
That's true. You know? And that's crazy. But
you know what, though? I think that, and I hate to kind of stoop to this level, but I think that if this was anybody's first episode watching Lucha Underground and they saw men interacting with men and women interacting with, it might actually be more likely to hook them, because I know that even though it makes no sense, the intergender wrestling is a turnoff to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's dumb, because to me, violence is bad no matter what, whether it's male on male, male on female, female on male, or female on female. Like, you shouldn't punch somebody. There should, like, violence should be something that you strive to avoid. But wrestling, the whole point is that it's worked. And, I mean, if Rey Mysterio can beat the Big Show, why can't, for example, Taya beat Cage? You know what I mean?
Right, and, you know, like, I don't want to personally go off on a political or social side tangent, but that, like, as always angered me, too, because you look at media, I know we finally got around to watching the movie recently, and I don't know if you heard about the controversy, but whole X-Men Apocalypse with that one image of Apocalypse choking Mystique, and people were like, oh, this promotes a certain kind of violence, and it's like, well, Mystique can handle herself. And I've always, you know, found it kind of frustrating when people are like, oh, that can't happen because she's a woman. You're right. Violence is wrong no matter who's perpetrating it, no matter who the victim is.
Well,
but we've got to trust
women. The people that are complaining about that, did they see what Mystique was doing to Apocalypse before he grabbed her by the throat?
Exactly. Like, did you see the film? And the same thing, like, when you look at a candidate, and again, I don't want to get too political, but like Hillary Clinton, and I've actually heard some people say, not all, again, but, you know, certain groups, oh, you can't say that because she's a woman. Like, women are just as intelligent and just as capable as anybody else. They should be just as prone to criticism.
They don't need to be protected like freaking butterflies or snowflakes.
Yeah, they don't need to be coddled. They could be just as prone to criticism and just as ripe for opportunity as anybody else. And, Mariposa and Sexy Star prove that. They're going to give to the gods. Taya and Ivelisse are going to prove it because they're going to tear the freaking house down. Probably be one of the best matches on the card, and that's saying a lot given what we have on this card. But that's how much I believe in those two women. Yep. Black Lotus is probably going to have an amazing debut that leaves Jaws on the floor. Yeah, it's all conjecture, but all of these women have earned my faith. And why should I shirk from it or say anything different? They don't need to be coddled. Fuck that shit.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right. So let's move on.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to let you run away with our main event talking segment, though, because I know Puma's your boy. So give me all your thoughts.
I wasn't even done talking about the 2-on-2, the tag team match.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to still talk about Mariposa and how freaking brutal she was, especially with Taya in this match.
Yeah, Mariposa.
I want a match between them.
That would be so good.
Like, the way that she woman-handled Taya when she was tossing her into the crowd.
Right.
And then the crossbody onto the chair.
Yeah, dude, that was nuts.
Yeah, that was awesome. And like you brought up the air raid crash, I thought that was a really cool, like almost like a sub finisher. Like, obviously the Vertebreaker is her main finisher, but it would be cool if she would like try and put people away with the air raid crash first, and then only if that doesn't work, we move to the Vertebreaker.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Because and the great thing is there's a form of continuity, I guess it would be. They make sense together because they both work on the upper back and neck.
That's true. Yeah, I love that. I wonder if that's intentional, but then again,
of course it is.
She's such an amazing performer. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, that's like to me, that's like the big difference between WWE and Lucha Underground is anytime we notice like a correlation like that. If it's in WWE, chances are it's not intentional and it's just dumb luck. In Lucha Underground, odds are it's intentional.
Right.
They know what they're doing in Lucha Underground.
Yeah, they do.
So, all right. I think we're moving on to our main event talking segment. Prince Puma comes out, and I gotta say, he seemed kind of nervous. This was the first time that he spoke in front of this crowd ever.
Yeah.
Like, we've heard him talk before, but it was always in pre-tapes. It was always on the roof or in the backstage or, the gym area. And it was always kind of in a situation where during the filming of that scene, you can get multiple takes if you want. You can retry, redo it. You'd be fine. In the temple, you're live. The lights are on, and you could hear the anxiousness in Puma's voice, I thought.
And you know what, though? In the context with this particular promo, I think that anxiousness works and even enhances
not only did it work,
promo.
I thought it added to it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it totally enhanced it.
Yeah.
Because Puma more or less lays down the gauntlet to Rey Mysterio. He says, look, when I was training with Conan, when I was coming up, he said, look, you keep working this hard, you can be the next Rey Mysterio. And I need to know, can I be the next Rey Mysterio? And then Ashton here has a great moment because he says, no, you're better. Or am I better than Rey Mysterio? So then Puma and Ashton pretty much have like a mental uplink kind of moment there. And so, yeah, he calls out Rey Mysterio for Ultima Lucha Dos. Rey comes out. He says, I do think I'm better than you, but I need to know if I'm still the best. So you're on. But remember, you're a prince. I'm still El Rey, which is Spanish for king, as I know, Ashton, you noted in Lucha Underground TWitWoW. So very interesting dynamic here. I know Puma's your boy, so subjectively, I know you got to be rooting for him. But when you look at this objectively, is there an edge you give to either guy right now?
Even objectively, I think that Puma needs to win this. Like, I don't care if it's Puma or Phoenix or Pentagon or Draga or Dragon Azteca, anybody. You put anybody who is sort of part of the new guard against Rey Mysterio at Ultima Lucha, and I'm cheering for the other person that isn't Rey to win.
I definitely have to agree with you. I mean, look, I know we talked a few episodes ago about Prince Puma's future with the Temple, but there's still time on that clock, and I know Rey, from what I've heard, I think Rey will be a part of Season 3, but I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah.
So, I think I would do the job. Plus, I mean, look, for diehard Lucha Underground fans, I haven't forgotten that Prince Puma lost his first Ultima Lucha. I think this would be the perfect rebound victory. You get a victory over Rey Mysterio, and then you could even start Season 3 back in the title hunt after a victory like that.
I agree.
And,
I mean, we even said that we think that Season 2 needs to be Puma trying to find himself.
Exactly.
I mean, even though he didn't really go on the vision quest that we kind of saw happening for him in a much more metaphorical way, he kind of did, because he spent time away from the world title picture. He spent time teaming with two other guys that he had never really known before. He spent time getting to know the person that found him and kind of introduced him to Conan in the first place. And now he's going to find out about himself, where he is in the grand scheme of things as far as how good he is.
Yeah, so very funny that in a roundabout way, what we wanted for Puma, well, not, literally, it did kind of happen for him after all, which is very cool. I am rooting for him as well. I think it would be a good kind of passing of the torch moment. And I think Rey's already shown a willingness in the temple. Like, I mean, you look at how Matanza got put over in his debut, just slaughtered everybody, and Rey was the last guy he pinned. Hopefully Puma would get the same kind of rub, I would hope. So, yeah, it should be an excellent match. I think it's really going to be the kind of match that attracts both just the hardcore Lucha Underground fans, like, oh my god, this is happening, and Rey Mysterio, with his brand recognition, hopefully would draw a lot of new eyes to Ultima Lucha Dos. So I'm pulling for this match just to succeed on all levels.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, with that said, is there anything else you want to say about this segment or Lucha Underground in general before we move on to our next segment?
I thought that this was a really good episode. We had a few solid matches. I thought that the main event match was awesome, and all I can say is Ultima Lucha Dos can't get here soon enough.
I completely agree. With that said, let's move on to our next segment. High spots and low shots. My low shot, very simple, Mascarita Sagrada. Because not only did you lose an Aztec medallion match, you lost your representation. Again, Famous Beast super kicked you to the curb. You got to pick yourself up and start at square one. So Mascarita Sagrada is my low shot.
Yeah. He had a rough night for sure, man.
Yeah.
I think my low shot is, I'm sorry, John, I have to do this, but I think it's got to be Taya.
I understand, man. It hurts, but I understand.
I mean, yeah, she got thrown around, and didn't she end up eating the pin then, too?
No, Ivelisse did.
Oh, it was Ivelisse? Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take that back then.
Yeah.
I don't know who else my low shot would be then. I guess, well, I don't know. You know what?
Wouldn't it just be Ivelisse? You just follow the same train of logic and she ate the pin?
Yeah, she did eat the pin. You're right. Yeah, let's go with Ivelisse. Ivelisse is going to have to be my low shot then. I don't want to, but I didn't want to with Taya, but I felt like she earned it more because I thought she ate the pin and the way she got thrown around by Mariposa. But I guess we're just going to have to kind of default to Ivelisse here, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what happens when a regular person can't hang with the perfection of Lucha Underground. So, sad to say, but it's true. Anyway, my high spot, let me think. You know what? Simply because I gave that little heartfelt, kind of, not rant, but just discussion point, I'm going to say my high spot's Marty the Moth. One of my favorite heels, finally got an Aztec medallion after chasing one relentlessly. And really a guy I would not mind seeing with that Gift of the Gods championship. I don't think he'll win it, but I'm actually kind of hoping he does. I think it would be a fun time. Him versus a guy like Matanza. You talk about the oddities. Jesus Christ. Mm. So, yeah. Marty the Moth, easily my high spot, and it's well-deserved.
I can dig that, man. You know what? My high spot, and this is 100% biased, and I'm okay with that. My high spot is Prince Puma.
Hey, man, you own it. I love it.
He spoke for the first time in front of the temple. He owned it. He was cheered massively. He challenged the guy that he wants to beat in order to prove that he is the best right now. And the guy that he challenged accepted. I'd say he had a pretty exceptional night.
Oh, dude, he had a freaking great night, and he could have a better one at Ultima Lucha Dos. If he beats Rey Mysterio, damn, man. Damn. So I love your pick. I think that's
unlike
great.
the WWE, too, I will say this. Unlike the WWE, Lucha Underground actually does feel like a meritocracy. So even though the Gift of the Gods is great and it guarantees you a title shot, you can get title shots other ways. And I think that one really, really, really strong way to get a title shot would be to prove yourself as the best going right now. And that's exactly what Prince Puma wants to do.
Oh, you want to talk about a surefire method. I can't think of anything more surefire than beating what some would regard as the legend of Mexico. So, yeah, Prince Puma's got an extraordinary opportunity at Ultima Lucha Dos. With that said, Ashton, do you have any concluding remarks?
I don't think so. Let's close this thing out.
All right, guys. This has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. And again, if you say it along with me, come on, guys, go to Teespring, buy the shirt. You're going to love it. It's going to look beast. And I am John. That's my cohort in commentary, Ashton. You already know to comment and subscribe. What's our question for this week, Ashton, for our subscribers?
Well, there's only 1 week of Lucha Underground programming left before Ultima Lucha Dos. So you tell me, guys, what other matches do you think are going to get made for Ultima Lucha Dos next week?
Absolutely, guys. Everything else, our Facebook, our Twitter, the subreddit, all in the background. So just be sure to look at that to find our info. And we will see you again for our NXT review, where we about that hug life, because it's the return of It's Bailey. Tune in and peace out.